On Friday, October 5th, Tropical Storm Iris, on a course for Hispaniola or Jamaica, posed little threat to Belize. But by Sunday afternoon, Iris had developed into a hurricane, packing winds of 75 miles an hour and moving swiftly to the west. In the early morning hours of October 8th, Iris doubled in strength, becoming a dangerous Category 4 storm and heading straight for Belize City. Iris would maintain this destructive path, shifting slightly to the south before making landfall somewhere between Placencia and Monkey River.
The mood was somber in the headquarters of the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, as Chief Meteorologist Carlos Fuller briefed Prime Minister Said Musa with the latest information.
Prime Minister, in my opinion, it would be too risky to go out there and try to do anything at this stage now. People need to just batter down now and wait it out at this stage. We'll be risking lives either by getting them out now, they'll be left in the open, and this thing could fall on them.
But we have to expect the worst and be prepared for the worst. Certainly there will be extensive damage, not only to property, but indeed to our export crops.
When Iris made landfall at approximately 7 p.m., hurricane-strength winds extended only 30 miles from the eye, while tropical storm winds extended some 100 miles. As we entered Maya Beach, our camera captured the bizarre sight of sheets of zinc hanging like wet clothes on electricity lines from poles that had been snapped in two. Flooded properties lined either side of the road. It was here we first heard reports that enormous storm surges completely destroyed many buildings, while carrying others several feet from the beach. Reference points washed away, and it was difficult to ascertain exact locations. Only the familiar site of the drug rehabilitation clinic indicated that we had entered the outskirts of St. Bite village. Smashed to smithereens was the descriptive phrase that came to mind. Villagers walked in disbelief among their gutted homes, in streets littered with trees and splinters of what once was.
A little frightened, but I had to be strong because I had 2 children in the house. So I had to be there for them.
For many of these people, it was hard to know where to begin. So some just sat trying to absorb the shock of it all, and others found solace at the bottom of a bottle. Iris had moved quickly over this area, but a drive through the village revealed that Placencia was not even a shadow of its former self. Electricity lines hung everywhere. As residents trickled into the village from hurricane shelters in Independence, many had no clue that they were coming home to nothing. The famous Placencia sidewalk was the only landmark still readily identifiable. The heavy wave action had done its deed. Buildings from the beachfront had been lifted off their foundations and dashed onto homes on the other side of the thoroughfare. As the plane circled the St. Bite and Placencia area, revealing more missing roofs, the enormity of the devastation increased as we realized most homeowners were not insured. Those who had lost everything boarded with family and friends. But as the villagers here began searching for a sense of normalcy across the lagoon, visitors to the country were coming to terms with an even greater loss: the deaths of their friends. Late Monday night, the dive boat Wave Dancer capsized, killing 18 tourists and 2 Belizean crew members. The captain and fellow survivors managed to swim ashore, but several of the bodies were recovered from these mangroves. Passengers had decided to stay aboard for a hurricane party, despite pleas from local officials to seek shelter inland. When we arrived at the scene, survivors of the accident had the grim task of removing the personal belongings of the victims. Theirs were the only lives lost to Hurricane Iris.
It may have taken Hurricane Iris just over an hour to pass across Monkey River Village. But for those residents who decided to stay and weather the storm in the community center, it was sheer terror as they desperately tried to secure themselves.
Everybody is homeless. I mean, when we say homeless, they don't have clothes. We are getting a lot of clothes, so that is kind of balancing out. But there is no beds, no chairs, no nothing, not even a place to put it if we had it. And people are just digging among the rubbles, just trying to find a plate, a pot, whatever they could find to use to cook in. We couldn't even use the wood to cook because that was wet. I mean, I have never seen disaster like this.
As Hurricane Iris blew over the area, it took everything in its path. The storm flattened most of the infrastructure in the village and totally destroyed its economy. Residents say despite the fact that 95% of their community was destroyed and it will take them several years to recover, they are not discouraged but have become even more determined to rebuild Monkey River Village.
This is a very nice, tight-knit community, more family-oriented. Just about everyone is related somewhere or somehow. And I think that's what makes it nice. Even the children, with all of the problems that they have, they're still upbeat, still laughing. We know that the weeks to come are going to be worse than this week because right now people are coming, they're seeing people from outside, so we know. But next week and the week after, when that starts to die down and reality hits home, that's when people are going to start to get the feeling of depression, frustration, and aggravation. And we hope by then we can give them something else to lift them up.